Emotional trauma, emotional issues are things that people tend to want to avoid. We can't physically see it. If we can't physically feel it or acknowledge it, it's a stigma to have emotional trauma. Emotional abuse in relationships, emotional trauma as a child, bullying in the schools, stressors of high-paced jobs, high-powered jobs, stresses in life in general. Those emotional pieces are all tied up in your tissues as much as any physical trauma that's out there. With any physical trauma, there's usually an emotional trauma that's tied to it as well. The reason why I wanted to bring this up today is three things have happened very recently. I had a client in here yesterday that we had a nice conversation around some of the things that went on as she was growing up in her relationships and some of the emotional abuse that she went through and how that shows up in her tissues. And even though she didn't have a lot of physical pain, those emotional things are coming up and do impact her day in, day out. And I personally experienced some emotional situation last night as well in my own life. Again, just completely reminds you how emotional stuff affects you. It affects your heart, it affects your gut, it affects, your whole sympathetic and parasympathetic system, where your body is viscerally reacting, and all that is actually impacting your tissues at that point in time. A lot of emotion for me personally. Went through pretty big swings. I had a very, very exciting day yesterday. It was a big day for me to finally close the door on being split between two worlds in my career. One partway within an insurance-based world has really been a tremendous career for me. There's a lot of great people there, but it really wasn't my life passion. My life passion is with myofascial release and helping people help themselves. To be able to do that was a really big thing for me yesterday, and I wanted to celebrate that, and it turned out at the end of the day to have some pretty sour notes on it. So it definitely impacted me. Also knowing that there's some pretty significant sad stories going on today. I actually just recently found out, just within the last half hour, that a relation passed away from cancer. And I wasn't close to this person, but it is affecting my spouse's family side, and my heart goes out to them. But also my daughter and brother-in-law lost a very, very close friend just a few days ago to something very traumatic. And again, all those emotions, all that emotional stuff is coming at them full force. If you don't think emotion is important, if you don't think it impacts your body and your well-being, have something traumatic happen to you and feel what your body's going through. It's in your tissues. It's very real. It's important to acknowledge those feelings and allow yourself to process them. That's the other piece that's hard in our lives, is that people tend to stuff their feelings down. They don't want to be seen crying. They don't want to be seen showing emotion unless it's, excitement and all positive stuff. Anger is a bad thing. Crying is a bad thing. It may be taken as a sign of weakness, and it's not. Those tears are your body's way of purging, and it's important for you to express those. For those of you who are out there suffering right now, I'm just going to let you know, hey, just acknowledge what you're feeling. It's so important. It's better to let your body work through those feelings than to stuff them down and have them come back and affect you in a negative way later on.